truly believe that a good fundraising plan, I mean, a strategy that really supports your team, engages your donors, prioritizes meaningful connection opportunities, that prioritizes gratitude, that does all these things. A plan that can do all these things is not just about dollars raised. It's actually also about staff retention, specifically the fundraising staff retention. Now, when I started in fundraising, the common knowledge or the common wisdom was that a fundraiser lasts about 18 months on their job before they move on. And I've seen some studies that support that, and I've seen some studies that discount that. I can share from my experience that's kind of right, that there's some real truth there, that fundraisers do leave their jobs. And oftentimes they leave their jobs because they are feeling overworked. They feel like they don't have the support or the resources they need to do their job. They might feel like goals are being set without really a sense of strategy behind them. It's just like you need to always raise 10% more because that's what we always do. Yet all these things kind of contribute to fundraisers oftentimes feeling not supported, not connected, not safe at their job. So they job hunt. They look around, and I've certainly done that in my career as well. But I wanted to share some really interesting and kind of grim information from a recent study. This is the, sorry, I have to look up the name of the report so I get it right. The Social Impact Staff Retention Report. Social Impact Staff Retention Report was just released. And I gotta say, it's not super great news. According to the report, the fundraisers that were surveyed in this report, more than 70%, I think 72% of them, are currently looking or plan to be looking for a new job within the year. That's a huge number. 1 in 7. That's a massive number of fundraisers who are actively looking or soon to be actively looking for a new opportunity. Now, I'll spell it out. The reason that is a scary number is because it takes time to learn how to be a fundraiser at an organization, right? You may hire a fundraiser who has fundraising skills, but knowing and being able to speak to and speak about your mission and your culture and your cause, that is a learning curve. And there's really no way to shorten or eliminate that learning curve. You can do some things to maybe speed it up a little bit, but people take time to learn these things. And the reason that's so important is because most of the time when you're hiring a fundraiser, that person is going to be out on their own talking about your mission in other rooms, right? There's opportunities for them to be maybe paired up with another fundraiser if you're really lucky, or paired up with another staff member. But for a lot of their job, it's just them and their words. They're writing, they're speaking, they're connecting with people. And so to have the confidence and to have the knowledge necessary to talk about your mission, it does take some time. So if your fundraisers are learning and then leaving, and you have to restart the clock every time, that also takes a toll on donor relationships, where they just got to know one person and that person is gone. And I've even heard some donors say that they don't really bother to get to know the names of the major gift officers or the fundraisers they are working with because they know they're just going to be a new face in a couple months. And that's a really hard way to run a business, and a hard way to build donor relationships and to have that create a sense that your donors are welcome here if your staff is constantly turning over. So why are the fundraisers who participated in the study, why are they leaving? There's some are leaving because of compensation. Many are leaving because, and I think this is the big one, they are leaving because they don't feel like they have the tools or the support needed to do their job. So that, I think, is scary, but I think it's a solvable problem, right? I'm always looking to solve problems, and this is a solvable problem. If your staff members don't feel like they have the support that they need, this is your opportunity to provide support. So what does that look like? What kind of support could we give our staff members? And not for nothing, I'll lead with this. You can hire a fundraising coach. You can hire someone to sit alongside your team and give them that support. Maybe you as the executive director, or you as the team leader, maybe you don't have the industry experience that they need. You can hire that in. And speaking of hiring, sometimes when we're talking about the support they need, there's non-fundraising tasks that you need to look at shopping out to other volunteers, to other staff members, or to other consultants. If you're hiring a major gift officer and then you're expecting her to also organize your gala, well, there's an opportunity right now. Let's talk about hiring a event coordinator or an event planner to do the event work so your major gift officer can do the major gift work. It's thinking about these things and having the conversation that at some point, one way or another, you're going to have to pay for this, right? You're going to have to. And you're either going to pay because you're hiring a contractor, you're hiring a consultant to come in and help, or you're paying for it because you are always in that loop of someone leaving and rehiring, and that is expenses and training and time, and you're never able to get that traction you need because you're constantly in this environment. So there's a lot of good stuff in this report. I will link to the full report below in this video, and I'll also talk about it on my LinkedIn page this week. But I wanted to share one other really important thing. The fundraisers in the report who reported that they were staying at their job, they cite mission alignment, work flexibility, and a good, encouraging work environment as the reasons they are staying. So if you want to figure out which things to invest in order to increase the chances of your staff sticking around, mission alignment, flexible work schedules, especially flexible work schedule, and that kind of good supportive environment. Now I bring all this up for one real reason, is because this report says a lot of things that I kind of felt in the industry, having worked in the industry for a long time and knowing what my complaints were, or when I was feeling the most at sea at a job. Those are the things that were missing. This report really kind of locks in on that. But also this report, it emphasizes something that I've really built my business around, and that a fundraising plan isn't enough by itself. That the reason I work with clients the way I do, where I help them create a strategic fundraising plan. I provide training sessions for their board of directors. I provide weekly one-on-one coaching for the head fundraiser, because this entire ecosystem that I'm trying to build is one that combines both strategy and leadership and attitude or culture all in one. These things all have to be present in order for fundraising to really be successful. That the best strategy, if your leadership doesn't understand how fundraising should look, or your organization thinks fundraising is embarrassing, that strategy won't work. If you have a really good, and vice versa, right? Like if your board is really happy and supportive and wants fundraising to work, but you don't have a strategy, or the culture of the organization is still kind of cold about fundraising, or thinks fundraising is just something one person has to worry about, that won't work either. All these things have to be in harmony, in alignment with each other. That's why I call my work Align and Accelerate, because we need to align these things before we can accelerate further. And this report really shows the cost of not investing in your fundraising team, not investing in your staff, not investing in your culture. The cost is 70% of the people who were participating in the study have raised their hands and said, I'm actively looking, or I will be actively looking within a year. And that is a really unsustainable way to run your nonprofit. So if you are really committed to the cause, whatever your cause is, if you're committed to it and you believe it's worth doing and worth doing well, then you have to have room for conversations about investment of this kind. And I would say that conversation has to start at the board level. If you're a board member for an organization, you need to be asking those questions of your executive director. What are we doing for staff retention? How are we making sure that's a priority in what we do? Because at the end, if we can't retain staff, then we're certainly going to be struggling to retain donors. And if we're not retaining donors and we're not retaining staff, we're just in this constant starvation cycle. And eventually it's going to fall apart. So if you're ready to take that next step and learn how to do this and learn how to do it in a way that you can do it over and over again, I'm happy to talk with you. And you can reply to this video or find me on LinkedIn, and I'd love to chat in more detail about ways we can do more for and with the community you serve. So that's all for now. Keep up the great work, and we'll talk to you soon.